Computer. Okay, 7:05. All right. Welcome everybody. I'll ask you guys some questions. I want you guys to pop in the chat with this training. You know, the trainings, we like to keep it as engaging as possible. But super excited about this stuff I'm going to share with you guys tonight. You know, like some of this stuff is the foundation for success. And we do a lot of training on like a lot of the skill sets, you know, but without that foundation, it's a more difficult uphill climb, you know. And this is some of the most important stuff that I learned from my father. You know, these are kind of like mindset shifts and actualizations and realizations of ourselves, you know. And it's recalibrating ourselves and reprogramming ourselves to raise our consciousness of success, you know. So this is like absolutely important, you know, because you could give skills and skill sets and teach people about like different skill sets, and that's like giving the tools to a person, but without having the foundation of how to effectively use the tools, it's just not as effective, you know. And these are the things we're going to talk about today are really really the rock solid foundation for success, you know. Some of these things, and they're at the core what drives everything else, you know. So super excited to be sharing this kind of stuff with you guys. All right, so first I want to ask you guys, how important, from a scale of 1 to 10, would you say is positive thinking? Pop it in the chat. From 1 to 10, how important is positive thinking? You got it. 10 from Norman, 10, 1,000 from Maria, 10 from Miki, 10 from John. Pretty much looks like it's 10 across the boards. 110%, you know. Positive thinking and basically your thoughts in general is your everything, you know. Everything that encompasses your life, everything that you touch, everything that you see started off as a thought, okay? And including our lives and where we are at in life is because of our thoughts. So we literally thought our way into the life that we have now, okay? So depending on what percentage of our life we feel fulfilled, we've reached that point because of our thoughts, okay? So I'm going to share a couple of quotes from you guys. I don't remember who was it on here. A couple of weeks ago, I was reading a book called As a Man Thinketh. I don't remember who it was. Someone posted it, but if anyone remembers, just pop it in the chat.
I think I mentioned it. It was from Aldrin Vicente. I think he's been reading it a lot and been posting it. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I remember someone else was actually reading. They posted a picture of the book, but that book I mentioned when I saw it is one of my father's all-time favorite books, As a Man Thinketh, you know. And I'm gonna read out a couple of quotes from that book that are super important. As he thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains. Okay. Another one is, this is not from the book, but another quote about our thoughts is, your life is a reflection of your thoughts. And that quote is anonymous. But Exactly. Our life, exactly where we are, is the culmination of the thoughts that we've had to reach this point. And our way of thinking has brought us to where we are in life. Now, in order to achieve more in life, or in order to break through any type of problems or barriers, we can't break through those things with the same thinking that got us in there. Okay. And we can't elevate in life with the same thinking that got us where we are right this second. So if we want to elevate in life, we need to increase our thinking, our thought.
No.
Oop.
Sorry.
No problem, man. Let me mute you for a second. But yeah, we have to increase that. Okay. Because exactly where we are now is our thought patterns, the way that we think, and we're going to deconstruct this in a second. But I'm going to read you guys another quote. A person is limited only by the thoughts that he chooses. Okay, and that's also from As a Man Thinketh. A person is limited only by the thoughts that he chooses. Let me give you another one. Nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go higher than you think. And that quote's by Benjamin Disraeli. So exactly what we mentioned earlier, that we cannot ever elevate with the same thinking that got us where we are right now. Every level that we elevate to is going to require a higher level of us. Okay, a different version of us, an elevated version of us, a higher conscious person that we are. All righty. So absolutely important. Our thoughts literally create everything around us. And most people are reactive to their thoughts, completely controlled by them, but the most successful people are proactive of their thoughts. They actually choose the thoughts that they want to have, because they have an awareness of their thoughts, like when you feel a certain way and you shouldn't, or you don't want to, you can actually shift yourself and get yourself out of that situation where you're actually changing you're changing your thoughts with, and also changing your heart about how you change how you feel about it. Actually, a really great quote by Dr. I'm brain farting. Okay, I'm going to say the quote. If anyone remembers who it was, just pop it in the chat. But what he said was, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So if you can't change something, okay, thank you. No, she yelled it from from another room. Dr. Wayne Dyer, yeah. Change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So situations you can't control, and if you can't change them, change the way you look at it, change the way that you feel about it, and it's not gonna take control or take hold of your life. So having that awareness, you're actually in control of your thoughts. While majority of the population are ruled by their thoughts, they're ruled by their emotions, and they live their life in complete slavery to their thoughts. But successful people are actually able to have an awareness of their thoughts and choose the thoughts they want to have, and create the thoughts that they want to have, and negate the thoughts that they don't want to have, which can also alter the way that you act, which eventually changes the way that you behave, and will change the results that you get. So why are thoughts so important, and why does it create everything in our entire lives? You could deconstruct it. I heard it once by this marketer named Frank Kern. Has anyone ever heard of Frank Kern? If you had, just say pop a yes if you know Frank Kern. I still see him around, but and I don't think that he actually created this, but he was the first one that I heard it from. But it's a deconstruction of how thoughts generate your destiny, right? And it goes like this. You probably want to write this down, because this one right here was like completely blew my mind away, and it made me really realize how if we're not captive to our thoughts, that it could steer us to a path that we don't want to take, right? So how this works goes, our thoughts, how they lead to destiny. Our thoughts create our words, right? And then our words create our actions. Okay, so we'll start from there. Our thoughts, what we think, usually we'll spew them out, right? It's even in the Bible where Jesus says, from our hearts. And if anyone over here remembers this verse,
Out of the heart, the mouth speaks.
yes, Joey, you got it. Out of the mouth, the heart speaks, right? So, actually, this goes even deeper, actually, because our thoughts actually stems from our hearts, right? Jesus goes even deeper than that, but our hearts create our thoughts. Our thoughts lead to our words, right? And then our words lead to our actions. Okay, so what we say we're going to do, we do them, right? And our words lead to our actions, and then our actions lead to our habits, right? And then our habits create our character, and then our character creates our destiny. So it's a direct chain reaction that starts off as a thought and eventually leads to our destiny, where we are going to be. So knowing that where our destiny is going to be shaped because of our thoughts, we would be very careful about what we're thinking, right? A lot of people don't really think that I should be careful about my thoughts. You know, we just let our thoughts reign, and whatever comes up, we just react to. But it's so important that we are aware of what we are thinking, and then we can control that, and create the thoughts that we want to create in order to achieve the destiny or the goal that we want to create. I'll do a little quick exercise, and we'll deconstruct that chain of events, right? From thoughts to destiny, and we'll start with a negative one. Okay, so let's say a negative thought. Let's say getting in shape is hard, right? Getting in shape. So that's a thought that just pops in our mind. Getting in shape is hard. So what is the words? If you guys pop in the chat, what are the words that will be created from that thought? Getting in shape is hard. Just pop it in the chat. I'll throw one in there. I can't do it. All right. Denise said, might as well not try. Yeah, that's a good one. Might as well not try, or I can't do it, right? So that thought leads to that word. Won't see results. Exactly. Very good, Brennan. Carrie, I will fail anyway. Yes, exactly. Okay, so let's say those. Okay, so now those are the words that are coming from our mouth? What is the actions that it's going to create? I may as well give up. Exactly, Karen. So what is the action that that's going to create? Watching TV. Exactly, Norman. Yeah, that's the easiest scapegoat right there. Not going to the gym. Exactly. Not going to gym, watching TV, uh, eating whatever we want, you know. So yeah, so that's the action. Um, okay, so now that action becomes a habit, and then we make a habit of those things, right? Uh, and then the habit will lead to us um, so a habit of those actions will lead to what result? Chime in. What result will making a habit of those actions? Yep. No discipline. But then what's the destiny and result? I would say being unhealthy being one, right? Um, Alrighty. So being unhealthy, getting sick, So the thought, starting with getting shape is hard, um, ends up with the destiny of being unhealthy, getting sick, gaining weight. Okay. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with our business, right? So let's say entrepreneurship is hard. Okay. It leads to words like, okay, I can't do it. Maybe this is not for me, leading to actions of quitting or giving up on yourself, right? Leading to a habit of quitting and then leading to a destiny of uh, unaccomplishment, you know? So literally, it all starts with the thoughts. It all starts with the thoughts. So we'll go to the positive end. Let's say you have a thought that um, I can do this, right? Or I can eat healthy, right? Or let's go to the business. I can do this business, right? Um, it leads to the words of I can figure it out, right? I can learn it, right? I can grow from it, right? Leading to the actions of learning, adapting, and improving. I mean, these are all the processes that I've went through in the very beginning because I knew absolutely nothing. Chris knew absolutely nothing, starting from scratch, right? But we had the thought that this is something that we could do. We followed through with the words that I can figure this out. I can learn this. I can learn that. And the actions was we were learning. We read books. We took online courses, and then we improved. We made a habit of it, and we're always learning. And we're always learning. Me and Nelly, we finished a couple of books while we were in quarantine, and then we had nothing to read, so I was waiting to get back to New York. Now we have all of our books. I'm so happy. But learning, adapting, improving, and then becomes a habit of hitting our targets, making a habit of winning, right? Leading to the destiny of reaching our goals, hitting our financial goals, hitting our health goals, you know? Have you ever seen a person where you're like, oh, that person, everything always happens right for that person, or those guys, whatever they do, whatever they touch is gold, or whatever they set out for, they always accomplish, right? It's their thought pattern, how they think follows through in that same exact chain reaction, and it creates all of those positive results for that person. So if you want to be that person, you have to start at the very beginning, which is you have to start with the thoughts, right? Our last quote here: if you realize just how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think a negative thought. And that quote is unknown. And it's so true. If you knew how powerful your thoughts are and how it creates every single thing around you, you would stay far, far away from negative people. You would stay far, far away from saying negative things or even just thinking negative things. It goes even deeper with the law of attraction, that the things that you think about expand, or the things that you think about you get more of in your life. You know, so you ever hear a person that says, "Oh, nothing ever works out for me. Oh, this always happens to me." Um, Literally, by saying that, these negative things always does happen to them, because they're actually creating it. They're actually creating that and bringing more of that into their life. You know, so knowing how powerful thoughts are and the power it is to create, you stay far, far away, far, far away from negative thinking, negative thoughts, and negative people, because literally, positive thinking and big thinking or great thinking literally completely changes your life. Completely changes your life when you keep that mindset. You know, like if you ever meet someone that's always positive, it almost feels like there's a light coming from them, right? And it's powerful. It's really powerful. It's like an energy, you know. Okay, so that's one principle. That's probably one of the biggest one over there. So I want to make sure we have time for all of these things. But so next one is, and you guys some of you probably heard me say this before. How you do anything is how you do everything. Have any of you guys heard that statement? How you do anything is how you do everything. Just type yes if any of you did. Joey, yeah, Joey heard it for Ray. Yeah, yeah. I'll say it. It's one of my favorite quotes. You know. But yeah, I mean, it's such a powerful statement, and saying it a little bit of a different way. I'll say it this way: how you treat little things is how you'll treat big things. Okay. Actually, this is also Bible based. Let's see if I remember it correctly. If I don't, I'm sure Joey will be able to remember it. But how faithful you are with the little things, how faithful you are with small things. Oh no, if you're faithful with small things, you will be faithful with big things, right? So that's also Bible based, but that stems from your character, right? And it'll be a more clearer when I talk about some of these examples in my life. For me, one of the things that I dealt with when I was beginning my journey with entrepreneurship was procrastination. Okay, I was a procrastinator. Okay, so looking at the small things, the areas in my life I would procrastinate on, right? Back in school, I will do projects. I'll do maybe my science project or a big homework that I'll have a week to do. I will always do it the night before. Always cramming, studying for a test the night before, doing my projects the night before. Okay. And I did everything in the last minute. When I see a garbage pail, I'll let the garbage pile up until it's unbearable anymore, and then I'll take out the trash. I'll watch laundry pile up, and then I'll do laundry once it's I have a mountain of it. Any type of chores, I would always pile it up because I was a procrastinator, you know. But it showed up, and it shows up in my business life too. You know, I would show up late to meetings because I'll leave at the last minute, right? And I would just show up late. I would follow up late with people, or not even follow up at all because I would forget, um, and that's because that was just who I was. So literally, if you think, how does not taking out the trash relate with the way that I do business? But it did, because it was the same. Um, it was in me. It was my character. It was who I was. So literally, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? I'll give you another example is skepticism. Okay, skepticism is one of the most dangerous characters, because it's one of the biggest characters that holds us back in life is skepticism, right? And actually, that was another one that I faced to a degree myself as well. Okay, now let's take a look at some areas in our life where skepticism takes effect in our life. When we don't believe when someone's being nice to us, right? So when someone's being good to you, like, oh, why is this person being good to you? He must have something up his sleeve, right? Or he must want something, or not believing opportunity that you might say sounds too good. This sounds too good to be true. So you know what? I don't know. It might not be real because it sounds too good. I've heard people say that to me. Or skeptical in new products. I mean, that's something that we face as distributors all the time, right? Skeptics that don't know about water. Oh, water's water. I've never heard of this type of technology, and I don't think this water would actually work because I've never heard of anything like that, right? So, but where that stems, skepticism. If you're a skeptic about all of these other things outside of you, how you do anything is how you do everything. So that does not separate you from being skeptic about yourself. So people are actually skeptics are actually skeptic about themselves and how they believe in themselves, or it's difficult for them to believe that they can achieve something great, or um, or just to believe in themselves, because skeptics need some sort of proof. So unless they can prove it to themselves that they can achieve something, they're not going to believe it. It's kind of like the person that um, um, I'll 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 s- I'll see it. No, I'll believe it when I see it, right? As opposed to, I will see it. No, wait. I'll see it when I believe it, right? That's faith, right? So people um, who can't believe in themselves without that concrete evidence, right? Um, what they lack in is two things: vision and faith, right? Because vision is to uh, believe in something that's not there, kind of like faith, right? To be able to have a belief in something without that evidence of it being there, because it's never happened before, or something that you've never seen before, to actually visualize it and have vision that it could come to fruition, right? It's difficult for a skeptic to see that, because they need that hardcore evidence before they can actually believe in it. So that's why skepticism is um, uh, such a such a bad trait that holds us back, right? Now let's look at a positive. Let's look at a positive trait, which is selflessness. Okay, selflessness. We'll look at a couple examples. People who go out of their way to help others, right? Selflessness, or people who puts other people's needs first, right? Now, how you do anything is how you do everything. Selfless people are usually leaders, right? Because they'll go out of their way to help their teams grow. Um, and they're also able to build trust with people that they don't know, right? And this is also Bible based, because where was that? It was in in the Gospels where Jesus actually, he says where the last will be first and first will be last, and the first will be servants to others. If you could correct me, Joey, that's exactly, it's along those lines. But that's the thing. Jim Rohn also has a quote where he says, the quickest way to get what you want is to give other people what they want, right? Leaders are servants. That's why you have the term also, servant leaders, right? Servant leaders. And that all stems from selflessness, right? So how you do anything is how you do everything. So if there's areas in your life that that you know that you have that you would like to change, start it at the very level. At the lowest level. So start at the very lowest level. Like for me with the procrastination, I would literally throw out the garbage with the intention. If I throw out the garbage and I create this habit now, it's gonna change everything else along those lines. You know,